Hey everybody, it's Phoenix Joy, and I'm doing a quick video on the Willis sisters, Bruce Willis and Demi Moore's girls, who I believe are boys. This is an early childhood picture. In order, it's Tallulah, Rumer in the middle, and Scout on the right. And even as babies, you can tell that they were born boys, especially Tallulah. And they've had surgeries over the years. And I tried to get as much of a progression as I could. There were a few pictures to go through, but that's another baby picture right there. Again, they're in order from Tallulah, Rumer in the middle, Scout on the end. Okay, so I want you to take a look at Rumer Willis. So I used to, before I started learning more about surgeries, I used to dismiss people that I suspected if I saw a curve until I learned better. All they do is get curve surgeries and hip implants and things like that. You can always tell because their torso will go down, and it'll just be, then it'll flare out. There's no real curve. And also, if you have a flat stomach, take a look in the mirror if you're a biological female and tell me how high your navel is, because anatomically women's navels are not this high. Okay, so that's a clue there. This is Rumer Willis as a little girl. You can just look in her face and tell that's a little boy. Even the arms look like little boys' arms. I don't know. I have a little boy. You know, I know what they look like. And this looks like a little boy with long hair. This is Rumer Willis, a little older. I think she might have been in her teens here. And I remember everyone was always talking about her jaw, you know, and how much she looked like Bruce Willis. And I really think it was deeper than that. They actually have some of the most intense male gazes I've ever seen. This is Tallulah Willis. She has the most intense male gaze. And when I talk about a male gaze, it's just something instinctive that you look in her eyes and you can tell that's a man staring out at you. It goes back to, it's actually a primal characteristic from the hunting and gathering days. Men needed to have these sharp, piercing, laser-focused eyes because they were hunters. They needed to be alert and on the lookout for danger. Okay? Women have softer, floatier, more dancey eyes. They're just open and full of light. We have a wider color spectrum range. We can see way more colors than men, and our eyes are always flitting around for the right berries and which ones are poisonous and which ones are not, and all of those things that we used to look out for back in the day. We evolved those traits. And so, but if you look at hers, tell me if those are floaty, sunshiny eyes, or are they piercing and laser focused? Definitely laser focused. So that's a male gaze. That's what we call a male gaze. This is her again. I mean, look. Despite surgeries and feminization procedures and hormone therapy and puberty blockers and all the things that they do from childhood, because this is what actors do to their children. They transition them young. Okay? It's tradition. It's not an exception. It's the norm. It's what they do in the name of Baphomet. Okay. Tallulah. Very, very sharp gaze. That's her. I couldn't find many really good body pics of them that show curves, but I mean, obviously you can see here that this is a male frame. Okay, I've pointed out the reasons why in a lot of my other videos. Large hands. The mandibles on all of them are very square and sharp. Her shoulder to hip ratio. You know, they have long arms, male pelvis, no hips. Yeah, that's one more of Tallulah. I mean, you cannot tell me that's not a male gaze. That's not a male looking back at you. That's a scalp, okay? And I was able to get a good picture of her Adam's apple here. Okay, scalp Willis. And again, about the hip thing, this is Scout again. Notice how her torso goes down straight and then it flares out. That's an hourglass tummy tuck procedure that she had. You can tell that it's not a natural curve. It will be a curve on the side, not down and then sharply tapered out. That's not natural. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things that they've done in order to hide the fact that these were all of these girls were born little boys. That's for sure. And they've all had issues with alcohol and drug abuse. That's what's so sad. That's why I'm doing a video on them, because of the effect that these actors and their traditions and their just basically taking away these children's right to choose who they want to be, and just they spiral out of control. They get depressed. They have to hide their secret. I doubt every single one of them wants to be the opposite sex, and it's just sad what they do. You know, I hope all this gets exposed in the mainstream. It's coming out, but I feel like it really needs to come out because everyone's been deceived. You know, we've all been tricked. We're all aspiring to basically illusions. Children growing up wanting to be something they will never be. And yeah, there's that the rabbit hole goes deep with this. But anyway, I'll go ahead and conclude this.